Hey everyone, let's talk about why Bitcoin's price always eventually goes up. Now that's been the case for 15 and a half years, the entire life of Bitcoin. I don't see that changing at any point. Obviously, history is not a predictor of the future, and I am not a financial advisor, tax advisor, legal advisor, any of those things. So, with that disclaimer, these are all just my opinions. But the reason Bitcoin's price always eventually goes up is there's only 21 million Bitcoin. And when you have a scarce, finite supply of something, in this case, Bitcoin, where there's only ever going to be 21 million, when you have that, and the value or the value that is received by the people using the technology keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, the price by definition has to reflect that. So I wanted to use an analogy to try to explain that. And the best analogy I've seen in people using memes is the example of somebody holding a beach ball underwater. Now, if you've ever attempted to hold a beach ball underwater, you know that for the average human, it's quite difficult to get a beach ball to stay underwater. The ball is trying to not stay underwater the whole time you're trying to hold it underwater. Now, that doesn't mean you can't sort of balance on top of it or try to sit on it or put your full body weight on it and get it temporarily underwater. But the beach ball eventually is going to come to the top of the water. Either you're going to get tired, fatigued, bored, uninterested, somebody's going to mess with you, whatever it is, you're eventually going to let that beach ball get to the top of the water. So the same thing is true with the Bitcoin price. As Bitcoin becomes more and more valuable for more people around the world, it's the equivalent, the price is the equivalent of, let's say the price right now is about $61,000. So let's say all the people in the world, not all the people, but all the people who hate Bitcoin in the world ganged up to try to keep the price of Bitcoin under $74,000. The previous all-time high it's ever been, $74,000 a coin. And all of them teamed up. They're going to short it. They're going to they're going to dump it. They're going to sell it. They're going to do leverage it, leverage short sales. They're going to do everything they can to keep the price down. It's the equivalent of 5 or 10 people ganging up on one beach ball. So, okay, eventually, you can get, a group of people can get a beach ball underwater and you can hold it underwater. The problem for people who are trying to hold the beach ball underwater is that the value keeps growing of Bitcoin. So it'd be the equivalent of the beach ball's underwater, but it's got a pump attached to it. And the pump attached to it results in the beach ball getting a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger each day. Now, it doesn't matter if you have 5 or 10 or 20 people trying to keep this beach ball underwater. If every day a little more air gets pumped into the beach ball and the beach ball gets a little bigger and a little bigger, it starts at, 18 inches across or 12 inches or whatever, and now it's 18 inches, now it's 2 feet, now it's 3 feet, now it's 4 feet. This beach ball is turning into like a massive thing. Eventually, it absolutely positively will rise. It is just a matter of physics that it will happen. So around the world, we have 8 billion people. And those 8 billion people, more of them are finding Bitcoin every single day. More of them are adopting Bitcoin. More of them are finding out how useful it is, the ability to transact value in an immutable, irreversible way that the government can't debase and can't control all over the world. And as people figure it out, that a little more air goes in the beach ball. A little more air goes in the beach ball. A little more air goes in the beach ball. So, for example, the last time you could buy Bitcoin for less than $10,000 per coin was about 4 years ago. It bounced around for a long time, but eventually the people who wanted Bitcoin to stay below $10,000 a coin lost out. There was no way they could keep that $10,000 price level beach ball underwater. Eventually, the demand of the marketplace, the adoption of Bitcoin worldwide, everything just absolutely eventually, that beach ball got big enough that no matter what was on top of it, it was going to rise, and the price did. And it rose and it rose, and it's now $61,000 per coin. Okay, so again, the same is true. And if you think about really heavy things like aircraft carriers and cruise liners and massive what do you call them? Cruise ships, right? They are unbelievably heavy, but enough of the shape of the ship is underwater and displacing that water with air, like a beach ball, that it is holding that massive amount of weight with the majority of it above water, because there's enough air below the water level that's pushing that's displacing water, causing buoyancy, that's causing it to go up. So that's where we are with Bitcoin. We've been below the all-time high of $74,000 a coin for about 5 months now for a bunch of reasons, and the beach ball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the Bitcoin beach ball is at some point going to break that $74,000 a coin. And just like when a beach ball comes out of the water, it will probably be with a good bit of force. So, and then it will break the next level. Eventually it'll break 100,000 a coin, and then 200,000 a coin, and then 500,000 a coin, and eventually it'll break $1 million a coin. And that will continue to be the case as long as more and more people see the value of Bitcoin, the value of living like I do on a Bitcoin standard, the value of using Bitcoin to preserve wealth, the value of transacting in Bitcoin anywhere in the world with anyone. All of those things are just unbelievably, incredibly powerful. And every day, every time a user adopts Bitcoin or buys some Bitcoin, it puts a little more air in that beach ball that guarantees a little sooner and a little harder that it will pierce whatever the ceiling is. The next price level above $61,016 is $62,000. Well, at some point, maybe later today, maybe later this week, I don't know. At some point, 62,000 will get breached. That beach ball is absolutely, positively going to rise. So when you have an incredible technology like Bitcoin that has all of the absolute perfect monetary properties to be the future monetary system of the world, hundreds of millions of people already using Bitcoin out of the 8 billion people worldwide, and all of those incredible things happening, absolutely positively that beach ball is getting a little more air every day, a little more air every day, a little more air every day, which virtually guarantees over a long enough time span, again, maybe it's weeks, maybe months, maybe years, that it will break through 75,000, break through 100, break through 200,000, break through 500,000, and I think eventually break through $1 million per coin. And that's just because the technology is so amazing. People are going to keep using it, and especially when the Federal Reserve really gets the money printers turned back on, which they are in the early stages of doing right now as we speak. So anyway, the goal with Bitcoin is get as much of it as you can before it starts breaking those high levels, and then you can live life at a discount. You can buy, when Bitcoin's $100,000 a coin, you can use it to buy stuff that with Bitcoin that you paid $60,000 or $70,000 or $74,000 a coin, and you're buying stuff that with Bitcoin at 100,000 or 200,000 a coin, and starting to live life at a discount instead of living life the way everybody else is forced to live it, which is as a victim of inflation. So as always, enjoy your Bitcoin journey. I'm always here for anything you need and always here to serve. Thanks, everyone.